you ready to play a game? I have a new game for you. But before we do that, let's do B is me rhyme. So put your me hands up. And you remember how this goes? Because we've been working on it for a whole lesson. So I bet you remember it. Say it with me. B is me. Look at me. A is Ray. What do you say? G is do. G, do, do. Let's do it again. B is me. Look at me. A is Ray. What do you say? G is do. G, do, do. This is how the game's going to work. So I have do, Ray, and me, and B, A, and G cards here. And you have this in your teacher parent packet. Now, I just slapped these up here, and they're in no particular order. So I know that B is me. So I'm going to put B here first because I know B is me. We're just going to move all this out of the way. B is me. Oh, well, this was right already, wasn't it? I didn't have to move anything. So what should I put here? Which one should I put? You tell me. A is Ray, and then G is do. Do you notice how these, not only are they blue, of course, but these are lowercase? Because whenever we write SOFA, remember I told you we always use lowercase or little letters. And when we write BAG, which are the names of notes, then we use capital letters. SOFA are the names of sounds. So me is not always B, as we're going to learn in Wind Songs 2. But for this year, it is for us. But just remember that SOFA is always written with lowercase, and BAG is always written with capital letters. Now, this is the game. So I have a gift bag, and I bet you could find one of these around your house, or your teacher might have one for you. You could also use just like a bag from the grocery store. So I'm going to put these in here, and I'm going to just drop them in my bag. And I'm going to close my bag, and I'm going to shake it up, so they're really mixed up. And then I'm going to dump it out on the floor. So dumping it out. And so you're going to be doing this on the floor or on a table if that's where you are. And so when you do that, you know, they're going to be all just every which way. Like that. And so you want to, first of all, you want to do the green letters to say B-A-G at the top. So B, A, let's move these out of the way, G. And now we want to put our SOFA pitches under the correct one. So B is me, A is Ray, G is do. Now this is where the actual game comes in. So if you pick all those back up, stick them back in the bag, putting mine back in the bag, and shake it up real good, mix them up real good, and then dump them out, and then see how fast you can match them. And if you're doing this class with somebody else, or your parent or your teacher is sitting there with you, they can play too. So you can have a set of BAG, Me, Ray, Do cards, and they can have a set. And then you can dump them out together. This is how we do it in class. We go hands off the bag, and then we go 1, 2, 3, go. And everybody dumps their bag real quick, and everybody starts sorting their cards really quick, and we work as fast as we can. Just as fast as we can. So B, let's see, A, G, Me, Ray. And we see who can get it done the quickest, correctly. But it needs to say B-A-G. So that's how the game works. Have you ever been camping? Maybe you have, maybe you haven't. Have you ever sat around a bonfire? Or maybe a smaller fire. Bonfires are usually really big, but maybe you've had a fire, like at your house or at an outing with some friends. So I want you to think back with me. If you were around a fire, you might hear some sounds because it would probably be evening. So I want you to pretend that it is evening. And maybe it's not even quite dark, or maybe it is dark. You might hear sounds that you wouldn't hear other times of the day. For instance, you could hear the fire, couldn't you? Fire does make sound. What sound does fire make? Sometimes it goes psst, doesn't it? That's probably the wood or the sap bubbling or making sound as the fire burns it up, gets it hot. Or sometimes the wood goes pop, pop, pop. I know you've heard those things. So now let's think about other things that you might hear at night that you wouldn't hear during the day. So can you think of any animals that you might hear at night? How about owl? An owl comes out at night, and owls make sound at night. And I've even heard them during the day, but they are night animals. So perhaps the owl will go, hoo, hoo, hoo. You know, around my house, sometimes I hear an owl that says, who cooks for you? Who cooks for you? Now, he doesn't really say who cooks for you, but it sounds like that to me. And sometimes we have insects that really bother us at night. Can you think of what insect I'm talking about? It goes, bzzz. A mosquito. I know you've been bothered by those, and when they fly past your ear, you can really hear them. And sometimes there's cicadas at night. Zzz, you might hear those where you live. And there's other sounds. You might hear a woof. Woo, woo. I'm not exactly sure what a woof would sound like, but maybe that would be what a woof would sound like around your house. So have you ever thought about what that would look like if you were to write those things down? So when we're looking at page 13 in our book, go ahead and open your book to page 13. You see this picture at the top. And there is something on this picture that I didn't talk about. I didn't talk about the frog, did I? What kind of sound would a frog make? They go ribbit, ribbit, ribbit. And bullfrogs make a really loud sound. I don't even think I can imitate a bullfrog sound, but maybe you can. So if you were to write those sounds down, you wouldn't use mi-re-dos or note names. You would use lines and dots, that kind of thing. So this is the rest of the page that you're looking at. I've just made it bigger here so we can all see it together. And they have some things here, some symbols. These are symbols that represent the sounds. So if you look at this one, it might go zzz. I don't know. Which one do you think that might be? Ooh. Could be, I don't know, maybe a cicada, maybe a mosquito. I don't know. But what about this one? These are short sounds and then a long sound and then short sounds. So do 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 do. It could be fire even, couldn't it be? Pop 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 pops, pop 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 pops. Or you might think it's something else. There is no really right or wrong answer here. What about this one? Let's see if we can make with our voice what we think this one would be like. Woo, 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 woo. I don't know, but it could be. You know, I guess that could be a cicada. Good, couldn't it? What about this one? This one starts low and goes high. Whoop, 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 whoop. That reminds me of a frog, maybe. So what you get to do, and it's so fun, is you get to decide what your night sound is going to be, or your evening sound. Now, sometimes students might say, I hear a car, but you know, you really can hear cars any time of the day, and I really want you to pick something that you really only hear at night. So I picked an owl for mine. So I wanted to show what my owl sounded like. So my owl goes, woo, woo, woo. You see how I made that going down? Because the pitch goes down. And I drew a picture of an owl, and I wrote the word owl. So what you need to do on your page is you need to decide what you want your night sound to be. And then you need to draw lines to show what the sound is like. And then I need you to draw a picture of what it is, or write the word. Sometimes students will do the lines to show what their sound looks like to them, but then they won't put a picture of it or write the word. And then a few weeks from now, they come back and look at that page and they don't remember what it was that they were trying to show the sound of. So it's very, very important that you draw a picture or write the word as well as write the symbols. And now, for the fun part, we are going to see if you can make, or we can make, the sounds of whatever sound you pick on our pre-recorder. Wow. So if I decided I wanted it to be the owl, this is what I could do on my pre-recorder. Like I said, there's no right or wrong way, but this is what I'm hearing an owl would be like. Do you hear how my pitch goes down? Do, do, do. To me, that would be an owl. So, if you were to do a frog, so if a frog went ribbit, 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 you might go. That could be a frog, couldn't it? What about a mosquito? Because they go bzzz. How could you do that? Well, I'm going to show you. This is really cool. What did I just do? I hummed and blew a note at the same time. Have you ever played a kazoo? When you play a kazoo, you go and you blow. Well, that's what you could do on here too. And you could use any note. I can even cover up all the holes, even though we don't know that note. I can cover up all the holes and go, and that could be my mosquito. So I want you to have fun with that and figure out how you're going to make your sound on here, because everybody would love to hear your sound, whoever you do it for. And now we're going to learn a new song. We're going to learn Evening Song. And that's on the very next page. You don't have to turn a page. It's just right there on page 14. So I'm going to put mine up here. We are only looking at this much of the page today. I know there's more on that page, but we're not doing that part today. We're only doing this. Now, when you look at this line of rhythm right here, you might notice something new. Can you spot it? Can you touch it with your finger? It is right here. That looks different, doesn't it? That's called repeat sign. Can you say that? Repeat sign. That means that when you play this, or say the rhythm, or sing it, that you go back and you do it again. You repeat it. So in music, that's an important symbol to know, repeat sign. Look at our rhythm right here. So this looks to be the same as that, doesn't it? It is. And then these are all TTs in this group right here. And then we have 2 tas. And then we're going to repeat it when we're saying it. So we are going to say the rhythm first. And I want you to pat the heartbeat for me right here. And I'm going to point, so I just want you to look at the screen as I point so we can all stay together. Ready, go. T, T, ta. T, T, ta. T, 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 ta, ta. Repeat. T, T, ta. T, T, ta. T, 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 ta, ta. Did you remember to repeat? Or did you all of a sudden go, oh, she said repeat? See if you can remember this time without me telling you. Let's do it again. Ready, go. T, T, ta. T, T, ta. T, 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 ta, ta. T, T, ta. T, T, ta. T, 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 ta, ta. That time I didn't remind you, but did you remember? Okay, repeat sign, so important. Now let's look at what it's going to sound like. This song does not have words, and that's okay because we're going to talk about that in the next lesson or so, what we can do about that. But for now, we're just going to learn it with the solfa or the mi, re, do. So it starts with mi, and then it goes to do. Oh, so we remember what mi, re, do sounds like, I think. Let's do that. Put your mi hands up. Mi, re, do. Let's do it again. Mi, re, do. So if we were to go from mi to do and skip re, it might be a little tricky, huh? So let's do it this way. We're going to sing mi, and then we're going to sign re, but we're not going to sing it. We're going to think it in our brain. Think the pitch. That's what Beethoven did, didn't he? We're going to think the pitch, and then we're going to sing do. So we're going to sing mi, we're going to sign re, but not make any sound, and then we're going to sing do. Are you ready? Here we go. Mi, do. Did you get it? Let's try it again. Mi, do. So now let's just go straight from mi to do and not sign the re. Okay, are you ready? Here we go. Mi, do. Now this song starts with 2 mi's, ti, ti, ta, mi, do. So we're going to do that. Put your hands up and we're going to sing it like this. Mi, do. Sing it with me. Mi, do. All right. So this time I'm going to point. The first 2 groups are mi, do. And then from do we go up to re, don't we? Do, re. Okay, so let's give it a try. So put your hands up. And I want you to use both hands. I can't use both hands and point. But I want you to pretend that I'm using both hands because I want you to use both hands. Here we go. Mi, do. Mi, do. Re, do. Re, mi, do. Repeat. Mi, do. Mi, do. Re, do. Re, mi, do. I forgot to remind you that when you do solfa, your elbows are not supposed to be on your knees and your arms are not supposed to be pressed up against your sides. So you're supposed to be able to move your arms up and down. So when I do mi, it's up here, and when I do do, it's down here. And when I do re, it's in the middle. So make sure that your hands are doing that. And that will help you with the pitch too, because all of that's connected with how your brain thinks about the pitch. So important. Let's do it again. So put both hands up. Here we go. Mi, do. Mi, do. Re, do. Re, mi, do. Mi, do. Mi, do. Re, do. Re, mi, do. All right. I think it's time for us to do it in chin position. So with your pre-quarter right here on your chin, you're going to move your fingers to the mi to the do. We've never gone from mi to do. I want you just to put your pre-quarter in chin position, put your fingers on mi, and then put your fingers on do. Remember that your left hand goes on top. Here's the stripes on the side that help you remember which hand goes on top. So make sure that your fingers are on the same side as the pre-quarter stripes, and make sure that your right hand is right here. So finger mi, and now I want you just to finger do. So you're going to put both fingers down. So think mi, mi, do. So say that. Mi, mi, do. Did you press your fingers down? Do it again. Mi, mi, do. Remember, you need to press down hard enough to cover those holes. Remember how we talked about holy fingers? Let's see if I've got holy fingers. Press your fingers down on do. Let's do this. Press down, press down, press down. Now look at your fingers. I have holes on my fingers. Do you have holes on yours? I have holes on all of them. I don't know if you can still see it. It's fading. Maybe you do. I hope you do. Okay, so now we're going to move our fingers. So the first two groups are the same. Mi, mi, do, mi, mi, do. We just practice like that. But when you do from mi to do, you don't want to do mi, re, do. You don't want to do that. You want to both fingers down together. And if your fingers are way up here when you're doing do, it's going to be a lot harder to get them down. So if you can keep them really close, it makes it so much easier. So look at your fingers. Are they close? Are they up here? If they are, bring them down. Okay, so we're going to do chin position. And I'm going to point, and I want you to do chin position. We're not blowing this time. Here we go. Mi, mi, do. Mi, mi, do. Re, re, do. Re, mi, do. Mi, mi, do. Mi, mi, do. Re, re, do. Re, mi, do. Was this part hard for you right here? Sometimes that's a little harder. So if we're going re, re, do, re, mi, do. And sometimes students want to play these notes like they're TT notes instead of tas. So you can think of it this way. Short, 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 long, long. Would you say that with me? Short, 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 long, long. Now let's do this much in chin position again. So put your pre-quarter right here in chin position, and we're going to start with re. Are you ready? Here we go. Re, re, do, re, mi, do. Let's do it again. Re, re, do, re, mi, do. And now we're going to try to play the whole song. Are you ready to give that a try? So you're going to blow this time, and I'm going to point. We're going to go a little slow so that we can all stay together. Are you ready? Here we go. Mi, mi, do. Mi, mi, do. Re, re, do. Re, mi, do. Repeat. Mi, mi, do. Mi, mi, do. Re, re, do. Re, mi, do. How did that go for you? Was it hard? But it's so fun to learn a new song, isn't it? And the first time it's always harder, but it gets easier. We're going to do it again. We're going to do it just a little bit faster. Don't forget to repeat, okay? Here we go. Mi, mi, do. Mi, mi, do. Re, re, do. Re, mi, do. Mi, mi, do. Mi, mi, do. Re, re, do. Re, mi, do. Now it's time for us to do our listening. Do you remember who our composer is? It starts with a B. I hope you're saying it. Beethoven. That's our composer for this time. And this is what he looks like. He was born in 1770. That's a long time ago, isn't it? He's still very famous today. So we were listening to Beethoven's Fifth Symphony. So remember the words. You might remember the words. They were really hard to remember, weren't they? Beethoven's Fifth, Beethoven's Fifth, Beethoven's Fifth. And I told you to count them. And I told you that I might tell you how many I got. So today, I want you to count them again.
Beethoven's Fifth Symphony.
Beethoven's Fifth. Beethoven's Fifth.
Beethoven's Fifth.
Beethoven's Fifth.
Beethoven's Fifth.
Beethoven's Fifth. Beethoven's Fifth. Beethoven's Fifth.
Would you say the rhyme that we've learned about B is me? So put your hands up like this and let's say it together. B is me, look at me. A is Ray, what do you say? G is do, G do do. This is a really fun day because we are going to learn where B, A, and G are on the music staff. So you're going to need to get your music staff out so it's ready for you to work with today. And you're going to need your sheet with B, A, G, and your notes. You're going to need both of those today. So as we look at our music staff, we know that we have counted these lines, haven't we? So let's just count them together again. Remember, we start at the bottom and go up. So this is line 1, say it with me, line 2, line 3, line 4, line 5. And then we learned that there were other things up here besides just lines, right? There are spaces. So this is space 1, space 2, space 3, space 4. And I mentioned to you that this is called a treble clef, but I didn't tell you its other name. And its other name is G clef. And the reason it's called G clef is because it's kind of a secret, but it really is kind of like a hidden G if you look at it. So if you do this, do you see how that kind of looks like a G? It's kind of hidden. You really have to look at it. But that's super important because this curl right here is going to show you where the note G is. So when I look at this curl and I see it going around this line, then I know that every note on that line is a G. So I can put my note there with a line going right through the middle of it, and I know that note is G. I hope you said that before I did. So that's a G. And I can just label it just to make sure that I'm understanding that that is a G. So you can go ahead and do that on your music staff page. Now we have a little trick to help us remember about B and A. So let's talk about B. I have a song that I made up about B that's going to help us. But you know what? We have 5 fingers, don't we? And there are 5 lines on our music staff. We can count that too, can't we, as a line? And so I can use this as my music staff, and it's with me all the time. I have 2 of them, don't I? And I can make a note with this hand over here, a round note. And I'm going to tell you that B is in the middle of all of my 5 lines. So if I'm looking here on my music staff at all my 5 lines, which one is in the middle? You know what it means to be in the middle. It means you're right here and there's the same number over here and there's the same number over here of lines or people or cars or whatever it is you're in the middle of. So I can say that this line is in the middle of all 5 lines, can't I? And that line's name is B. Whenever there's a note there, it is a B. So if I do that on my fingers, my music staff that I carry with me all the time, and so do you, I know that it's this one. So when you're looking at your fingers, that's tall man, isn't it? So I can take and make a note right here with my other hand, and I can probably do it like that. It's probably easier. And I'm going to put it so that the middle finger is showing right through like that. And I'm going to sing this song, and I don't want you to sing the first time. I just want you to listen. B is in the middle, middle, middle. B is in the middle of 5 lines. And that last part is super important, the middle of 5 lines, because we need to know it's just not in the middle of any line, it's in the middle of all 5 lines. So I want you to do that with me. So put your hand up. So you should be looking at the inside of your hand, the palm of your hand. You can face it. So you're looking at it. Have it face you. And then put your other fingers in a round circle to make your note and put it right there on the middle finger. So you know that's where B is. And sing the song with me. B is in the middle, middle, middle. B is in the middle of 5 lines. Should we do it again? I think so. So let's get our staff ready, get our note ready, right on the middle finger. Sing, B is in the middle, middle, middle. B is in the middle of 5 lines. All right, so now we know that's B. We have one more note to do, don't we? And its name is A. So I have a little pat clap rhyme to help us remember about A. Because A is in the second space, and I'm going to show you where that is. I might have to move some of this over a little bit to give us a little bit more room. This is space 1. This is space 2. Space 2 is called the second space. So if you're in grade 1, you're in first grade. If you're in grade 2, you're in second grade. This is the second space. So this note is A. It fills up the second space. And let's see if I have enough room to put its name there. It's going to be kind of tight, but I think I got it. So here is the rhyme that goes for A. I just want you to listen. A is the second space. A is the second space. A, space, space, space. Now, would you do this with me? Here we go. A is the second space. A is the second space. A, space, space, space. Let's do it again. A is the second space. A is the second space. A, space, space, space. Now, let's go back and review. So, how did I remember that this was G? Remember, here's our hidden G. And it curls around this line. This is our G line. Any note anywhere on this line would be a G. How did I remember? This is where B goes. B is in the middle of all 5 lines. Put your music staff hand up. Take your note and put it right over that middle finger. Sing with me. B is in the middle, middle, middle. B is in the middle of 5 lines. How did we remember where A is? A is the, not first space, but the second space. So let's do the pat clap thing together. Are you ready? Here we go. A is the second space. A is the second space. A, space, space, space. Now you should have your notes and your BAG like I do on mine, and that's going to help you remember where they are. So did you take your hands on yours and cover up that part so you could see the hidden G? If you didn't, let's do that right now to make sure you can see it. Now I'm going to take these off, and I want you to take yours off. And we're going to see if you remember what we just learned. So first of all, where is G? How do I remember where G is? Hope you're telling me. We look for the hidden G, don't we? We look for the hidden curl in the G. The curl in the G. Okay, well here's the curl in the G. Here's the line. That means that this note must be G. This note is G. I can put both of them there to help me remember. Eventually, I'm not going to be using these. I'm just going to remember when I see this and I look at this curl that that note is G. Okay, let me take that one off. What about B? How can I remember where B is? B is in the, we have a song about that, don't we? B is in the what? Middle of all 5 lines. Oh, okay. Middle of all 5 lines. I have 5 lines. Where's the middle? Oh, middle. Okay. There's my B. So I want you to be sure you do that on yours too. And let's sing that song together. So put your music staff hand up. Put your note right over the middle finger there. Sing, B is in the middle, middle. B is in the middle of 5 lines. All right, so let's take that off. And what about A? A is the second space. First space, second space. Oh, must go right here. A is a second space. Let's go ahead and put an A here. You need to be doing that on yours too. Can you do that pat clap with me? Pat, clap, ready, go. A is the second space. A is the second space. A, space, space, space. Let's do it again. A is the second space. A is the second space. A, space, space, space. Okay, so that's where B, A, and G are. Now, we're going to do something else, and I want you to open your book to page 19. So when you look at page 19, I'll take this off for now, we see something for us to do, and we're going to need our pencil. Just going to line these up here because I'm not going to need these right now. Just going to kind of get them out of the way. And we're going to be drawing notes. So we know where all the lines are and the spaces are, but we've not practiced drawing an actual note. And there is a right way and a wrong way to draw that note. So L means line. 3 means line 3. So they did the first one for you. Remember, you start at the bottom and count up. So line 1, line 2, line 3. See how they drew their note? I don't want you to do anything yet, because sometimes students think they know exactly what to do, and then they don't, and they mess up, and they have to go back and erase it. I don't want you to have to do that. So just hang on a second. So line 3. Now look at this one, line 5. So line 1, line 2, line 3, line 4, line 5. It's going to be up here. But what if I did it this way? I did line 5. Okay, let me see here. There. Is that right? No, it's not right. It is line 5, but it's too big. You see how it went down in the space and even went down in the line below it? It has to be the right size. So let me give you a little hint that might help. So what we're doing, if you'll start, put your pencil on the line and then go up and then come down just a little bit, but not touching that other line. That's correct. Sometimes those students will do this. They'll do it like this. Is that one right? Can you see it? That's not right. It's too little, isn't it? Really little. No, that's too little. It has to be halfway between the lines. So let me show you on this one. Let's do line 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. If I start on the line and go up and then come down like that. See, I've gone halfway between these lines here. I'm not touching either one. It's a little tricky and a little hard, so you have to be really careful and do it slow enough that you can be careful. Let's go ahead and do the top line and then stop. I'm going to do mine. Okay, if you haven't finished it, go ahead and stop the video and turn it back on as soon as you finish just the top line, because I have a find the mistake question for you. So if you're ready to move on, I want you to look at this top line because I have made some mistakes and I want to see if you can find them. I'm going to tell you how many mistakes there are. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 things that are wrong. Did you find them all? So the first thing that's wrong is this one is too big. And let's see, this one's right. This one's too big. This one's right. This one's too little. And that one's too little. Did you find them? Now look at yours. This is what it should look like. So you just pause the video until you have enough time to look to see if yours is like mine is on the first line. Then turn it back on when you're done. Now we're going to go on to the second line. So the second line says S, and you can see here that S means space. Space 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, that's space 4. So space 1. Let me put mine on space 1 to show you how to do that. Do you see how I filled up the space? And I touched that line and I touched the top line and I touched the bottom line of the space. I didn't go outside of the line. I didn't make it too little. I filled up the whole space. So what if I did this for space 3? 1, 2, 3. Let's see, space 3. Is that right? Space 3? That's not right, is it? Because I went out of the space and I circled the line. It's really not a line note or a space note. It's just a nothing note. We wouldn't know if that was a B, A, G, or whatever. So I'm going to erase that one and make it smaller because it just did not stay where it was supposed to go. It did not stay in its space. Space 3. Okay, I think you understand what you're supposed to do. So I want you to go ahead and finish that line and then I want you to stop. I'm going to do mine while you do yours. Are you ready to find the mistakes in my line too? Okay, let's see. I'm going to count the mistakes and see if you find the same number that I do. 1, 2, 3, 4. I found 4 mistakes. Did you find 4? Let's see. This was obviously right. Space 1, that's right. Space 3, that's not. That's too big. Space 1, that's right. Space 4, oh, that's just too little. Space 2, that's not space 2. That's space 1. Space 1. Space 3. Space 3, that's line 3. Oops, I really messed up. Maybe I did it right on this sheet. Let's see. That one looks right. Make sure yours looks like this. Pause the video until you've had time to check it. Now we're going to go on to the next line. You see space and lines are mixed up on this one, and you've got to really be careful. So line 2, space 1, line 5, space 3, line 1, space 2, line 4. You could just do all the line notes first and then go back and do all the space notes if it makes it easier for you. Whatever works for you. Just pause the video until you've had a chance to do the whole line. Are you ready to find Miss Jackie's mistakes? Let's look. I'm going to count to see if you get the same number of mistakes that I do when I'm looking carefully at it. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. I found 3. Did you find 3? Let's see. Line 2. That one looks fine. S1, well, that should be space 1. Oh, boy, I really messed up there. That's line. That's not even a space note. Line 5. Yeah, I know there's 5 lines, so that's the top line. S3, space 3. Oh, I must have thought it said line 3, but it's not. It's space 3. How silly of me. Line 1, that looks good. Space 2. Well, that's space 2. That one look okay? It's too little. Oh, it's too little. Line 4. Okay, that looks right. Okay, let's see if I did it correctly on this one. Those are correct, so make sure yours looks like that. Just pause the video until you've had a chance to check it. So it is time for us to say goodbye. And I would like to show you something that I've been doing because I've been doing these emotions and you might have wondered what those are. So those are other so fa signs that we haven't been using. We have used this one, haven't we? But we've been doing it up here. This one's a little lower because this is so, mi, this is la. Listen to what that sounds like. So, mi, la, so, mi. Can you put your hands like this? This is so. So if they touched each other, it would make kind of like a wall, wouldn't it? That's so, and we know mi. And this is la. La is like little housetops. Watch as I do it again. So, mi, la, so, mi. Can you do that with me? Put your hands up like this. This is so. And let's sing the so, mi, la words. So, mi, la, so, mi. Now I'm going to sing the goodbye words. Goodbye, it's time to go. Can you sing it back? Goodbye, it's time to go. See you next time.